Hello everyone, my name is Wayne.
And I'm Rebecca.
And we are your Bourbon Journey.
Welcome to episode 39 of Bourbon Trail Tales and Tastes, where we're visiting our 44th distillery and getting our 36th stamp on the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. Now, this is still April 16th. We visited Bluegrass Distillers earlier in the morning and then headed over to Frankfort, Kentucky on our way home to visit Castle Key. I don't know if you've been to Castle Key before, but it might be one of the most beautiful distilleries and one of the most unusual from an architecture perspective that we've ever been to. So not only did we visit and get that stamp that day, but we also earned the Bluegrass coin. Back then there were coins for the Craft Trail, and the Bluegrass was finished at Castle Key. There's a little bit of drama with that day because I was all excited getting the book stamped and said, I get my coin now. And they're like, oh, we're out. And I about panicked and had a little bit of a fit. And she says, well, we'll look for them. We might have some back in the vault. And so we did our tour and everything. And afterwards, she surprised me because she had the coin. What else do you remember about Castle Key, Wayne?
It was a basic tour, but the property is what I remember the most.
Yeah.
Half of it probably will never be repaired. You know, when you go there, you can see it, but it's still standing, which is neat. But then part of it, they have restored, and it's really gorgeous. And they have the pool there.
Reflecting pond.
Is just, reflecting pond. It's just outstanding. And when we're in the area, we usually stop by there and get a drink. I like their Bloody Marys they have there.
We've stopped there a lot of times. I normally get their paper train. They call it that because part of the big history of that is it was owned by E.H. Taylor. He started this distillery, and he was very well traveled. And because of that, he wanted to bring some of that culture to Frankfort. And you see all these different European influences. As a matter of fact, one of the most stunning things was walking into the distillery and there being a chandelier up above. Mm-hmm. So they have chandeliers. So it's all real hoi polloi, so to speak. It's very fancy. And there's a train track there that doesn't really go anywhere any longer. But back in the day, he had a special train track built to bring people in from downtown Frankfort for these various events they would have in the evening, and really put this distillery on the map. And they would enjoy so many different things, but the historical distillery is still there. It has a castle-esque look to it.
It does.
It's just beautiful. They have beautiful gardens, a reflecting pond, and they're right on a creek. And as Wayne said, we often stop in there just to get a cocktail and go sit by the creek and enjoy the birds and the herons and everything else that's going on. So it is absolutely a lovely stop. But I do remember that part about the distillery piece, right? That we walk in and it's, you've got all that happening with the chandeliers. And then from there we walked in, we saw the fermenting tanks. Mm-hmm. Stood around those. It's not a huge distillery.
No.
But they took us through the whole tour. We saw the fermenting tanks. We saw where the still is. When we were there in 2023, they were, of course, making their own juice at that time, but they had not released any of their own bourbon. The only thing they really had that was theirs was gin, and we had to try all this stuff at the tasting at the end. And I will say this, neither one of us are big gin fans, but their gin is pretty fascinating. We actually own a couple bottles of their gin because they do seasonal gins, and they have a taste profile unlike any other gin I've ever tasted. And I'll probably have to do a cocktail with it pretty soon. And because they just have this, if it's springtime, you have a spring kind of floral thing with it. And they take it through the seasons, and it's really good. They also make their own rye, which you're going to see we're going to be tasting rye today because that was something they were making on their own at that time.
But typical with places when they first get started, they, of course, they make vodka. And in this case, they make gin, and you do that because you're trying to gin up business. So anyway, hey, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.
But at least they make really fantastic gin. It's not just like a juniper berry in your mouth,
yes,
which is one of the reasons I typically don't like gin. You have to have some juniper in it to call it gin. But the botanicals they select for each season is pretty interesting. And they have a fantastic gift shop too. It's beautiful.
They do. It's rather big.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
They have a little bit of everything in there.
They do.
And including some really high-end clothing and jackets and things like that. So it's not high-end as Sitzel-Weller.
No, nothing.
But it's higher end than most gift shops on the Bourbon Trail, I would say. So It's just gorgeous place to visit, and do a tour there for sure. If you can't get a tour, at least visit the gift shop, at least walk around the grounds, grab a cocktail, and enjoy the area. It's just so beautiful. But you'll want to hear the history, and to be able to see the chandeliers in the distillery itself is worth the price of admission, really. And then they'll also take you for the tour to some of the more private gardens that you can't just walk to all the time on your own. And I do have a lot of weddings and things there too. So they found a lot of ways to monetize what's going on while they're waiting for their bourbon to get older.
Which is very smart. So the bottle we have in front of us today, I don't think we have opened until today, correct?
Opened it today, fresh crack.
And what's very unusual for us, because it's a rye, and we decided to go that route. So Rebecca is going to tell you about this rye.
Absolutely. So today we selected the Restoration Rye 2022 single barrel. And the reason is that it was distilled by Castle Key Distillery. It has a very interesting mash bill. It's 63% rye, 20% malted barley, and 17% yellow corn. It was aged 3 years. The proof is 115.8, and this is barrel number 3027 and bottle number 218. We purchased it that April 16th of 2023 for $70 at the distillery that day. And again, we purchased this because we wanted to have something they had made, and we weren't quite ready to buy some gin, although I will say on a subsequent visit we did buy a bottle of gin. So it just seemed fitting that since we had this at that time, that we would try their rye today. We've never opened the bottle, so I'm excited about it.
So we'll pick this up and take a look at it, and let's see what we got.
It's golden.
It's gold.
Yeah, these are often a little bit lighter anyway, and this is only a 3-year-old. But again, rye does not have to age quite as long as bourbon does. It is a Kentucky straight rye whiskey. It does meet that qualification.
3-year-old at the age you want a really good horse to be. You can get the ryegrass right away.
But it's not overpowering because it's, 63%? Some herbal notes, maybe a slight hint of mint.
Mint, there's a tea element. The stuff that you would normally get in a rye, it is there.
But it's dialed back because so many of your ryes are the 95.5 ryes. And this one has quite a bit of yellow corn and just not quite as much. I mean, it's legal. You only have to have 51% rye to be a rye. But I'm liking the nose on this a lot. It's quite fragrant.
I am getting a little bit of the barley that's in there. You have to get down in it. And honestly, if I didn't know it was there, I probably wouldn't think anything of it. But you get in, you get a real brief hit of it.
And that's kind of how I felt about the mint notes, was I had to get a little deeper to get that because it wasn't quite coming up. I do have some really pretty legs forming on this glass. It's quite lovely.
Well, let's go ahead and
taste it.
Taste it. So Castle Key, we're going to try your rye for the first time. Cheers.
Restoration Rye.
Cheers.
Light and bright. Some ryes are just kind of heavy. This has a lot of bright notes to it. Maybe a little bit of lemon.
It is very bright. I do get the rye there, but it's not a medicinal type. It's a, how do I say it? It's natural's what comes to mind.
I was thinking floral, herbal. The finish, I don't normally go here, but on the back end, I'm feeling like pops of mint because it feels refreshing on the back. And the rye spice is not overpowering in any way. This is 115.8 proof, and it's drinking very smooth for me.
The very beginning of it, I get confectionery sugar. I think that's actually the corn element, even though there's not a lot there. It doesn't last long. It starts it, and then it develops into all the classic type of rice spices you would get, mint, a tea element. It's very tasty.
And then it's met with this bright lemon zest kind of feeling that goes with it. So it takes those spices and brightens them up. It's like you're having this most phenomenal cup of tea that has fresh herbs in it, and mint and lemon, and it's just, and lots of sweetener because it's pretty sweet for a rye too. It's just popping.
Are you getting the lemon in the middle?
Yeah, because I did not get it on the nose initially.
Okay.
And I'm still not getting on the nose, which is interesting. I often get zesty things on the nose and not on the palate. But this, I'm feeling it mid palate. And then in the back, as it's heading into the finish, is where that mint starts popping for me a little bit. It's almost like you breathe a nice fresh breath of mint, like you've just had a peppermint patty or something like that. And that's the kind of feeling I'm getting from it, which is very pleasant.
There's a slight pepperiness that I'm getting as well. Not much, but just a smidge.
Just to remind you, it's a rye.
And it's pretty good.
I'm excited. We hadn't opened it. You know, we don't drink a ton of rye. And I told Wayne this morning, I said, I think we're going to open their single barrel rye. Why not? And I'm really glad we did. This would go on a list of ryes that I would pull out to drink. We have a very short list of ryes that we enjoy. And this one, now that it's open, we're going to have to visit it, especially being a barrel proof one. The 115.8, I think, is a very nice proof point. I like this. This is one of the reasons we like doing this series. It makes us look at what did we buy that day, and in addition to remembering, but we go to Castle Key quite frequently, be honest, but to think back to what we bought that day and why, and understanding why we purchased this, but we didn't understand why we hadn't opened it, so now we have. And I think their bottles are gorgeous too. They are. It's a very hefty cork. They got this nice little neck piece on it. The bottle's pretty. It's got a great design. Almost looks like a lantern. We've not finished a bottle of Castle Key, but it's a bottle I'd probably want to keep and possibly do something with later.
I think it would probably make a pretty good cocktail.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. I haven't decided what cocktail I'm making this Thursday, so it might have to be with this rye. So there you go. I thought this was pretty fun. Anything else that you remember from the trip?
No, other than really being, like we talked about, really being stunned at the property and being a history buff. And I think that's really one of the things that has gotten me into bourbon. Going there and just seeing the property, and sadly seeing part of it really let go and fall apart. But then part of it was being able to restore it, because the owners put a lot of money into it.
Yeah, it's a story of restoration, which is why this is called Restoration Rye, because it's all about restoring the history. And they've been really purposeful in how they've attacked bringing pieces back. And I think they have a long-term plan that they haven't even quite reached yet. Right. But they're really trying to keep as much of the history present, and then using photographs and history and things and people that knew about it, really trying to bring things back to what its original glory was, which is absolutely beautiful. Yes. It's fantastic.
Yes, and I don't know how long it'll take or if they will ever endeavor to do it, because there are some parts that are probably beyond repair.
Right.
But there are a few of the buildings that they could do some stuff with. And so we will see what the future brings.
I think the one that's next to the parking lot used to be the administration building. Yes. They're actually working on that one currently. There's a tree growing out of the middle of it, by the way. But they told us on the tour that they're working on that. They would like to make that some of the offices, to bring it back into the fold that way, because it used to be an administrative building or the watchtower person's building, something like that. I can't remember exactly how it went, but it's a great place to stop. I would highly recommend a tour. It's just not too far off the freeway in Frankfort. And it's also just down the street from another one of our favorite places, Glens Creek. Yep. So if you stop in here, be sure to stop in and see Dave and Vicki at Glens Creek as well. But definitely stop in on the Bourbon Trail and check out Castle Key. You will not be disappointed. Get a cocktail. You will not be disappointed, and enjoy the scenery, because it is fantastic.
And I know sometimes on the weekends they also had food trucks out there.
Yes,
so you can make a big stop and
that's true.
Kind of kick back and really enjoy yourself. So let's raise our glass to Castle Key. To the ownership of Castle Key, thank you for endeavoring to try to make the best of the grounds that you have and improving, honestly, quite a bit of it. It's very impressive. If you like what we do, hit the subscribe button, and always remember to drink responsibly. Have a great day. And for today, if you have it, drink some Castle Key. Cheers.
Cheers.